The salvage yards of Kepler Station hummed with the constant buzz of plasma cutters and the clang of metal against metal. Among the towering heaps of decommissioned starships and broken machinery, Nahal worked with practiced efficiency, her dark eyes scanning each piece of scrap for anything of value. At 19, she had already earned a reputation as one of the finest engineers on the Outer Rim colonies, though few knew her age or bothered to look past her human heritage. "Another day, another credit," she muttered, hefting a particularly promising piece of durasteel plating. The metal was scorched but intact, perfect for her current project. A soft whimper caught her attention. Nahal paused, listening. There it was again, coming from behind a massive pile of twisted hull fragments. She set down her tools and carefully navigated through the debris. What she found made her heart clench. A young Zephyrian cub, no more than 8 cycles old by her estimation, lay trapped beneath a fallen beam. The species was known throughout the galaxy for their fierce warrior culture and pack mentality, but this little one was clearly hurt. His left hind leg was twisted at an unnatural angle, and his usual silver-blue fur was matted with dirt and dried blood. "Hey there, little guy," Nahal said softly, approaching slowly. The cub's golden eyes widened with fear, and he tried to scramble away despite his injuries. "Easy, easy. I'm not going to hurt you." She kept her voice gentle as she examined the beam pinning him down. It wasn't too heavy. She could lift it with the right leverage. "What's your name?" The cub studied her for a long moment before responding in accented standard. "Crix, you are human. Guilty as charged. I'm Nahal." She smiled, positioning herself to lift the beam. "Hold still for just a second, okay?" With a grunt of effort, she raised the metal bar high enough for Crix to scramble free. He immediately tried to stand but collapsed with a cry of pain. His left leg was definitely broken, possibly in multiple places. "We need to get you to a medical facility," Nahal said, but Crix shook his head violently. "No, cannot return. Pack cast me out. Broken cub brings shame." His voice cracked with the pain of rejection. "Better to die here." Nahal felt a familiar anger rise in her chest, the same fury she'd experienced when other species dismissed humans as weak or irrelevant. But this was worse. This was a child being abandoned by his own family. "Well, that's not happening on my watch," she said firmly. "Come on, let's get you to my workshop." Over the next several days, Nahal tended to Crix's wounds while learning more about his situation. The Zephyrian clans valued physical prowess above all else, and cubs who showed any sign of weakness were often cast out to prevent them from contaminating the pack's strength. Crix's leg had been badly set after an earlier injury, leaving him with a permanent limp that marked him as unworthy. "Your people are idiots," Nahal said bluntly as she examined his healed but crooked limb. "You're smart, brave, and loyal. Those are the qualities that really matter." Crix looked up from the technical manual he'd been studying. He'd shown a remarkable aptitude for engineering concepts. "Humans think differently than Zephyrians." "Yeah, we do. We don't give up on our own." Nahal stood up, brushing off her hands. "Which gives me an idea." For the next 3 weeks, Nahal worked with obsessive dedication on her project. She barely slept, surviving on caffeine pills and determination. Adnan, her business partner and closest friend, tried repeatedly to convince her to take breaks. "You're going to collapse," he warned, finding her hunched over her workbench at 3 a.m. "Whatever you're building, it can wait until you get some rest." "No, it can't," Nahal replied without looking up from the delicate servo she was calibrating. "He needs this now before he loses all hope." Adnan sighed but didn't press further. He'd learned to recognize when Nahal was in one of her unstoppable moods. Instead, he brought her food and made sure she stayed hydrated while she worked. Finally, after 23 days of non-stop effort, Nahal stepped back to admire her creation. The exoskeleton was a work of art, sleek silver-blue plating that perfectly matched Crix's natural coloring, powered by a compact fusion cell that could run for months without recharging. Most importantly, the sophisticated joint mechanisms would not only support his damaged leg but actually enhance his natural abilities. "Crick," she called softly. The young Zephyrian had been helping Adnan organize inventory, but he came running when he heard his name. He stopped dead when he saw the armor, his golden eyes wide with disbelief. This is for me." "Custom fitted," Nahal confirmed. "It'll take some getting used to, But once you master the controls, you'll be faster and stronger than any of your former packmates. Want to try it on? The transformation was immediate and remarkable. The moment Crix activated the suit's systems, he stood taller, moved with fluid grace, and radiated the confidence that had been stripped away by his clan's rejection. The armor didn't just heal his physical limitations, it revealed the warrior he had always been inside. Word of the miracle armor spread quickly through the station's diverse population. Within hours, a delegation of Zephyrian elders arrived at Nihal's workshop, led by a massive warrior whose silver fur was streaked with age. "I am clan leader Thark," he announced formally. "We have come for the cub Crix." "Over my dead body," Nihal said flatly, stepping protectively in front of Crix. "You threw him away. You don't get to take him back now that he's useful again." Thark's eyes narrowed dangerously. "You dare challenge Zephyrian law, human?" "I dare challenge stupidity wherever I find it." Nihal crossed her arms. "And abandoning a child because he's different is about as stupid as it gets." For a tense moment, violence seemed inevitable. Then Crix stepped forward, his armor humming softly with power. "Clan leader Thark," he said formally, "I request trial by combat to reclaim my honor." The old warrior's expression shifted from anger to surprise to something approaching respect. "You would face me, young one?" "I would." What followed was the most one-sided fight in Zephyrian history. Crix moved like liquid lightning, his enhanced suit allowing him to outmaneuver and overpower warriors twice his size. In less than 5 minutes, clan leader Thark lay on his back, Crix's armored hand pressed gently against his throat. "I yield," Thark said quietly. Then louder, "I yield. The cub has proven his worth." But Crix shook his head. "I am no longer cub, and I am no longer Zephyrian. I am something new." He looked back at Nihal with gratitude and love. "I am her pack now." Thark rose slowly, his ancient eyes studying Nihal with new understanding. "Human female," he said formally, "you have given our cast-out cub not just healing but transformation. You have shown wisdom where we showed only tradition, compassion where we showed only judgment." He dropped to one knee, followed by every other Zephyrian present. "The Iron Claw clan owes you a debt that can never be repaid. From this day forward, you and yours are under our eternal protection. Any who threaten you threaten us all." Nihal looked around at the kneeling aliens, then at Crix, who was grinning widely. "Well," she said finally, "I guess that's one way to expand the business." Adnan laughed despite himself. "Only you could accidentally start an interspecies alliance by being too stubborn to give up on a kid." "Not stubborn," Nihal corrected, placing a gentle hand on Crix's armored shoulder. "Just human." As news of the incident spread throughout the galaxy, it became another chapter in the growing legend of human determination and ingenuity. But for Nihal, the real victory was much simpler. She'd given a lonely child a chance to become everything he was meant to be. And in the process, she'd proven once again that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their refusal to abandon those who needed them most. The Iron Claw clan kept their word. For generations to come, the name Nihal would be spoken with reverence in Zephyrian ceremonies, and no human would ever face danger alone while her protectors drew breath. It was, the historians would write, the beginning of the longest and strongest alliance in galactic history, all because one human girl refused to let a broken child believe he was worthless.